Well, good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here. I'm so glad to be with you today. I'm glad to be with you every Monday, as a matter of fact, but today is a special day, as it seems like every Monday is. I think part of it is just the thought of getting together with all of you that makes it so. I don't know how many of you may remember back a while ago, quite a while ago, in fact, that there was a very popular show that featured uh, intergalactic travel and had Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock as key characters. And one of Mr. Spock's most famously quoted lines was, "Live long and prosper." And I think that that's sort of a starting point for today's discussion, because I think one of our goals in going on this journey to live our healthiest lives is, in fact, to live long and prosper. And Mr. Spock even had a greeting that his planet used to wish each other this message whenever they came upon each other, and that greeting was this. I think you may even have used it, some of you, at some point or other in your lives. You live long and prosper. So, with that in mind, that's sort of where we're going to springboard off on today's discussion. Happiness, of course, means a lot of different things to each individual. And I'm not really so much talking about happiness per se, but tips on being happy. Uh, it can shift over a lifetime as to what it actually means for you. As our needs, wants, and desires change, it can be joy, love, purpose, money, health, freedom, gratitude, friendship, romance, uh, fulfillment from work, all of the above, or something entirely different. You get to define what happiness means to you. It isn't that nice that it's our decision. Uh, Many have even suggested that while we think we know what will make us happy, we are often wrong. And when I was reviewing this topic, I stumbled across a study by a Dr. Robert Waldinger, who is from Harvard University Study of Adult Development. And interestingly enough, this man has data that backs up his proposition. It's probably the longest running longitudinal study of human happiness. It started back in 1938. Wow. Almost 100 years ago. The original study followed two groups of men, Harvard College students and adolescents from the Boston inner city. It was expanded in recent decades to include women and people of more diverse backgrounds. Um, Plenty of components that are at play in the quest for a happy life were evaluated through this entire period, and it was interesting to find out that what they were able to determine from this longitudinal study, that the key to happiness comes down to one main factor. And that one main factor is quality relationships. Wow. Interesting, huh? And how much emphasis do we put on quality relationships and the importance of peer support within our community as we strive to reach our goals and live our healthiest, happiest lives? What Dr. Waldinger said was that they found out that was important was to stay actively connected to at least a few people. Doesn't mean you have to be friends with the world, but you need a few significant people in your corner. Uh, he was interviewed by Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who you may have seen on CNN from time to time, about this lengthy study that he has been engaged with, uh, since his career began. The study has been forwarded at Harvard as different scientists have retired and new ones have come on board to make sure the continuity of the study continues in an appropriate fashion. What they also found out, Dr. Waldinger said, was that people who were connected to other people lived longer and stayed physically healthier than the people who were more isolated. Uh, and that was a surprise in the study. It was not something that they were necessarily looking for initially. Uh, not that people were necessarily happier, but that people lived longer when they had quality relationships. Um, he shared these lessons in a book that I actually got my hands on so I could learn a little bit more about it, called The Good Life: Lessons from the World's Longest Scientific Study on Happiness. Dr. Waldinger is a psychiatrist, a professor of psychiatry at Harvard, and is also a Zen priest. So he's had different ways of looking at happiness throughout his long career. Why would quality relations help us live happier and longer lives? Was my question. I mean, I can certainly understand the happier part, but to make me live longer, that sort of raised my eyebrows a little bit. But what the data that came out of the study showed was this has to do with stress and the relief of stress. Uh, if something upsetting is happening during the day and you feel as if there's nobody else to help you get through it, and your body is all revved up and in flight or fight mode, um, it makes it much more difficult. Stress continues much longer. But if you have these significant friends and family and other relationships to help you, then your flight or fight response calms down. You really begin to feel better when you feel that there are quality people in your corner who you can vent to, talk with, discuss, etc. He said that neuroscience suggests that people who are isolated or feel lonely stay constantly in a low level fight or flight mode. They don't really get a chance to completely release the stress. So they have higher levels of circulating stress hormones all the time. They have immune systems that don't function as well. So they get more infections more easily. And that chronic inflammation eventually, if it isn't released, breaks down body systems through time. Additionally, people who are isolated uh, don't have anyone looking out for them, someone that really has their back. Uh, Somebody that's going to ensure that they eat well, that they visit a doctor when they need to, that they engage in other behaviors that lead to better health, that they get enough rest, even, and enough activity. Important areas of concern, obviously, when we're trying to live our best lives every day. This certainly does not mean that introverts or people without partners are doomed to short, miserable lives. Having one or two good friends, somebody you can count on that's got your back, is enough. So, what did he suggest? And what I would like to share with you are 5 basic tips uh, that he feels will help everyone at whatever stage they may find themselves to live uh, their very best lives. And the first one is not to neglect the basics. And we hear this all the time, and we support it actively in so many different ways. The basics are to eat well, to exercise regularly, and to get a reasonable amount of sleep. These things really do matter a lot when it comes to living your longest life. I look at some of our cops in our organization that are in their hundreds now. I think part of the reason why we have so many active TOPS members is because of the relationships that support each other in living our best lives and coping with whatever TOPS uh, uh, TOPS members have to deal with in an ongoing fashion. You know, there's always someone that you can reach out to who will listen, and listening is such an important gift you can give to others. So don't neglect the basics. Make sure that you eat well, make sure that you keep your activity levels up, and make sure that you get enough rest. I think all of us have that pretty much down as essentials for our best lives. And then the next thing that he suggested that we focus on, and fortunately, again, in our organization, this is sort of a given, level up your social life. Take care of your social fitness. And there are two ways that this can be done. One way probably is easier than the other because it takes less work. But the first is quantity. Do you feel you don't have enough people in your life to whom you're connected? Uh, you can actually take active steps to make more relationships, to bring more people in your life. If you feel that you're going it alone and nobody much cares or um, is concerned or there when you need them, there are all kinds of ways this can be done. Where you're working alongside of other people or enjoying activities alongside other people. Volunteering for a community event that you enjoy or care about is one way. Uh, Being involved in a religious community is certainly another. And then joining an organization such as TOPS and participating not just in the intended purpose of the organization, but also in the social aspect that enhances the ability to fulfill the intended purpose of living your healthiest life. If you go to the same group of people again and again, you're going to likely strike up conversations around the things that all of you care about and that you're there to do. Uh, it introduces new people into our lives, and it even strengthens existing relationships among those in the group. So quantity is one aspect. The other one is quality for social fitness. And quality plays an integral role. Don't ignore the importance of friendship. Taking small actions day to day to stay in touch and to connect with people uh, helps make relationships stronger. We have to work at maintaining good relationships. They will wither and die if ignored. And I think all of us have seen that happen from time to time where someone's focus and direction went in another way and you lost touch. Excuse me. It's allergy season. All the fall trees are beginning to generate some mold as the leaves lay on the ground in the dampness and makes me sniffle a good bit. Uh, these efforts to maintain the quality of a relationship don't really require a lot of heavy lifting, but it means taking small but consistent actions on a regular basis so that day to day, in many ways, we stay connected with each other and express how much we value each other. Making a point to call somebody or to text or email somebody just to stay in touch with them as a friend. It means actively reaching out to go take a walk together or slipping away for a few minutes to have a cup of coffee, maybe even a meal together and talk over activities that are going on in each other's lives. These ways enhance the quality of the relationship. And the regular actions will keep the relationship more vibrant so that they don't wither away from neglect. So that's point number two. Point number three is to be able to express yourself and think about the core values that you cannot imagine your life without. What is at your root? What do you treasure most? Uh, this shapes the direction in which your life will probably unfold. Where do you get to, pardon me, where do you get to express what you feel about your life? And are there ways to do more of that? Can you express how you feel with friends, with associates in this social network that you're building for yourself? Are these like-minded people? Are these people who will listen respectfully and allow you to have your voice? People whose activities allow them to express what's most meaningful to them are the people who end up being the happiest and feeling the best about their lives. Everyone likes to be heard. Being heard does not necessarily mean that you agree with everything everyone says, but that you listen respectfully to each other with caring concern and kindness. And try to empathize, to put yourself in the other person's position rather than blow them off and say they're stupid for holding that opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own voice and to expressing that voice in a respectful way. So, do you have friends that allow that to take place? That will help you in living your best life. The fourth thing is accept and embrace change. Did you know people change all the time? And it means that the relationships they hold are changing too. We need to learn to accommodate these changes in each other because we're not fixed forever in time. We're constantly evolving as we learn more, as we gather more, as we test more, as we do more. The question is, can we notice how we're changing and how the other people around us are changing? I think that sometimes we think we live in a vacuum and nothing ever changes. But I'm not the same person I was 10, 15 years ago. I'm certainly not the same person I was when I graduated from high school, nor would I want to be. We're always learning more, and we need to be able to filter through, accept, and embrace changes as they occur rather than resisting the fact that change is a part of life. Um, Often, relationships get into trouble when we try to freeze them in some way or freeze the other person at a certain point in time. Have you ever been guilty of saying, wow, he sure has changed, or she sure has changed since whatever happened? And very often, this can happen when we are making progress toward a goal or we are not making progress toward a goal. It changes the way the individual feels about themselves. It also changes the way we feel about the individual. And I think a lot of times we really aren't aware of the process that is going on within each of us that do color the relationship. You it's just not registering. And I think there's a certain level of awareness. Uh, I can tell you right now, I have watched it play out uh, with me and my family, uh, with me and my friends, uh, within my TOPS chapter, even as people have gone up and down the scale and they have felt differently about themselves, wrong or right, simply because of the number being recorded on the scale. They doubt their worth, they doubt themselves, they doubt their ability to sustain change through time. All of this can affect a relationship if it's denied or ignored. Some things just need to be expressed and say, I feel really rotten now that I've put on this much weight, or I'm feeling really terrific and I don't want to come across as obnoxious, but since I've lost this much weight, uh, accept and embrace change. One way to learn to accept some changes, particularly when someone's annoying or when you're having trouble in a relationship, is to bring curiosity as much as you can to the relationship. It helps the other persons feel that you're interested in what they're going through and that you genuinely want to know. You're just not irked and irritated with them, but you really want to know what's going on. It also allows you to learn more about why they are thinking the way they are. How can you possibly know if you don't ask the question? It's particularly important now when people tend to make snap judgments, and there's so much going on in the world when it comes to how we look at each other and the assumptions we make about each other. Uh, don't prejudge. Don't think you know unless you ask and listen carefully to a response. So, my message for you today is no life is happy all the time. Moment to moment, happiness can change. It is unrealistic to imagine that doing everything right results in being happy all the time. That's just not true for anybody. But we can all truly embrace wishing each other well and caring for each other and supporting each other in this journey. So I say to you, live long and prosper, and I'll be honored to walk by your side and help in any way I can. You all have a fabulous day and go out there and make a difference for yourself and for all that you care about. Take care now, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.